Tsotsi, Chapter 1, a summary. So we find that when we read the first chapter of Tsotsi, there are four people waiting in a shack because they've got murder, mayhem, and money on their minds. They are waiting for the leader of their gang, namely Tsotsi, to come up with a plan for their heist for that evening. So they all have criminal intentions. And these four also have interesting names. So we have the leader, he is Tsotsi. Interestingly enough, he is also the youngest of the gang. Then we have the ARP, and he's called so because they say his knuckles drag and the way he looks. Possibly could be alluding also to his intelligence. Then we also have the Butcher. Butcher is called thus because he likes murdering. He likes killing people. So it's an apt name. He literally likes to butcher people. Then we have the smart one amongst all of them, the smartest one, the one who seems to have almost a college education, Boston. So Boston doesn't really like the crimes that they are committing. That's why he turns to alcohol to try and numb the pain. He doesn't want to kill. He doesn't really want to steal. He's basically a part of this gang for survival, but he doesn't like what they're doing for survival. So we have these four young men during the apartheid era, because that's when this entire novel takes place, where it's set, is in the apartheid era. And they have desperation. They're facing oppression. They are jobless. So they turn to this life of crime for survival, and it ultimately leads to a lot of death and devastation. And people fear them. As they walk through the township, people make way for them and they stare at the ground because they're afraid of them. They've built up a reputation of fear. So they are criminals. They've been driven to a life of crime. And as this novel progresses, you'll find out the reasons why Tsotsi actually became a criminal. What led him to this, how he ended up in this state, and how he became the leader of this gang. And a lot of interesting character development takes place. Amazing character development. And that's something to pay attention to as these chapters progress. So as chapter 1 now continues, Tsotsi has come up with a plan. They're going to the train station. It is at this train station that they see a man named Gambut Dlamini. Very important character because he displays the brutality of this gang. The utter brutality of this gang. So Gambut Dlamini makes three fatal mistakes. Three fatal mistakes. The very first one, he's smiling. You see, Gambut was working in the mine. He hasn't seen his wife in a very, very long time. So he was smiling because he was excited to be able to go back home to his wife again. The second mistake that he made was wearing a bright red and silver tie to make him stand out amongst the crowd. And the third mistake he made was he showed his pay packet. He showed his envelope full of money. And it's that envelope full of money that cost him. All these mistakes combined attracted Tsotsi's attention and the attention of his gang. He then became their target, and they were then set on taking him and taking his money. So they followed him onto a train, and that is where Butcher takes a bicycle spoke and sticks it into his ribcage through his heart and kills him with deadly accuracy. And they take his pay packet. But here we see Tsotsi's utter brutality, because as Gambut Dlamini dies, he whispers something in his ear about his mother to make his face contorted as he died. He liked leaving his victims with a contorted face. So that is chapter 1. We are introduced to these four characters and the main character. And we see this brutality in him. It's not a character you can empathize with or feel sympathy for. He lives up to his name. He lives up to the name that he has chosen, the name of a Tsotsi. He lives up to it. And this is chapter 1. The introduction, the utter brutality, and the desperation of the times in which they live. That is all seen within chapter 1.